Welcome to Apostrophes and Hyphens. Let's start with apostrophes. So apostrophes are something that you actually already know how to use, but you tend to not always use them correctly. So let's go over how to use apostrophes. First, we're going to talk about apostrophes with possession. There are several different possessive apostrophe rules. The first is that you need to add an apostrophe S to all singular nouns, whether they end in an S or not. The second rule is that you need to add an apostrophe S to plural nouns that do not end in an S already. The third rule is you need to add only an apostrophe to plural nouns that end in S. Some examples for our singular nouns. That is the cat's toy. Cat is a singular noun, so I need to add an apostrophe S to make it possessive. The toy belongs to the cat. That is Cora's toy. Cora is also a singular noun, so I'm going to add an apostrophe S. That is James's toy. Now this one's a little different because James ends in an S, and we get a lot of questions about this. Well, if it ends in an S, shouldn't I just put an apostrophe? But no, because James is singular, we're talking about one single James, we actually still need to add an apostrophe S to show that that is James's singular toy. Now when we look at plural nouns, the rules can differ a little bit. So we have, that is Charlie and Spot's toy. Well, we know that Charlie and Spot, this subject, is plural. We learned that when we did verb problems. So Charlie and Spot's toy, we get an apostrophe S at the end because it doesn't end in S. I wouldn't say it's Charlie's and Spot's toy. It belongs to both of them. So the apostrophe S just goes at the very, very end. Those are the kids' toys. I'm talking about multiple children here. The toys belong to all of these kids. So kids is a plural noun that ends in S, so I just need to put an apostrophe at the end of that noun. That is the men's locker room. Well, men is an example of a plural noun that does not end in S. So I need to put an apostrophe S at the end. Another time that we use apostrophes is when we are making contractions. And the rule that goes along with that is that you would put an apostrophe wherever you are omitting letters. And that word omitting means to delete. So wherever you're taking letters away, that's where the apostrophe goes. So some examples. Did not, we turn that into didn't. We're taking out the O, so that's where we would put the apostrophe. Would not becomes wouldn't. Again, we're taking out the O, so we would put an apostrophe there. It is becomes its. We're taking out the I and adding in the apostrophe. They are becomes their. We're taking out the A, so we're adding in an apostrophe. Super important. The word its with an apostrophe, it always means it is. I'm going to show you this again in a minute, but its this way is never possessive. It always means it is because we don't ever show possession with personal pronouns using apostrophes. This is the last just apostrophe reminder, is that apostrophes are never needed to make plurals, and we never use apostrophes to make personal pronouns possessive. So, my cats are always begging for food. Cats here is just plural. I'm just talking about multiple cats. It should be written like this with no apostrophe. My chicken was pecking at its treats. Well, it's like this means it is. Remember, we just learned that. It's a contraction, so it means it is. I would not say my chicken was pecking at it is treats. That doesn't make sense. I would say my chicken was pecking at its treats with no apostrophe. Okay, now let's talk about hyphens. Before we get into hyphens, I want to talk about the difference between a hyphen and a dash. A hyphen looks like this. It's rather short. A dash looks like this. It is a little bit longer. Maybe not so diagonal, but that's fine. So a dash would be used to indicate a pause or a break. Sometimes we use a dash instead of parentheses. But here, we're talking about hyphens. So first hyphen rule is that we use hyphens for compound numbers and written out fractions. For example, the number 23 should have a hyphen in the middle. The fraction 1/3 should have a hyphen in the middle. That one's pretty simple. The more difficult hyphen rule is that hyphens should be used to combine two words that are being used to describe a noun as a single adjective. Spot is a very well-fed cat. Well, I'm not saying that he is a well cat or that he is a fed cat, although I can promise you he is fed. I'm trying to say that he is a well-fed cat. Well-fed is being used here as one single adjective, so it needs a hyphen in the middle. Not talking about your feelings leads to pent-up emotions, which is super true. Talk about the feelings, guys. Come talk to me if you don't have anyone else to talk to. So not saying pent emotions, I'm not saying up emotions. It's like not even a thing. But pent up emotions as a single adjective to describe this adjective describing the noun, that is a thing, and I need a hyphen in the middle to show that. Well, guys, that's it for apostrophes and hyphens. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow, and I hope you have a great night. See you later. I look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow, and I hope you have a great night.